Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is going to be a little different because today I'm just going to be sharing my story. A lot of people have been requesting for me to talk about my Christian life, and a lot of friends that I have were like, you should make this video because I feel like it's going to impact other people. So I'm just going to be sharing a couple things. I'm going to try to be as fast as I can, but if it's a very long video, I really apologize, but try to not skip through it. Try to stay tuned and listen. So I'm going to get started. So pretty much I've been a Christian my whole life. I grew up in church my whole life since I was very young. My grandmom used to take us to church, me and my brothers, because my mom was very young when she had us, so she was working like 2 jobs, and it was very tough for her. And I'm sure if you're a young mom out there watching this, you know what I'm talking about and you can relate. But yeah, so my mom was working 2 jobs, so my grandma was the one raising us and taking care of us. So she took us to church every single time, every week. There was no day that we will miss. We were there every week, faithfully at church. And I'm talking about my grandma was so old school that she would literally make us go to the altar, right, in the church and pray. It wasn't like, let's get to church and let's talk and have little conversations. It was like, once we get to church, you guys are going to go straight to the altar and you're going to pray and give God thanks, because that's the first one that deserves it. And I was like, okay, we were very young, so we didn't know what she meant. Like, what was she talking about? Like, what's the purpose of this? Obviously, we asked ourselves a lot of questions. So anyways, the years went by. I was still in church. We moved to this city when I was 11 years old. Mind you, I'll be 25. So almost 12 years, or about 12 years if I'm not mistaken. So we came down here when I was 11 years old, and I'm the oldest out of my brothers, so they're younger than me. But once we got here to this city, my mom, met my stepdad, they fell in love, and we decided to stay. So we stayed and we visited this church, which is the church I attend now. We visited this church, and my mom wasn't in church yet. So mind you, she grew up in church herself, but then she was backsliding for 18 years. So when we came here, we saw this church, we visited, we liked it, but my mom decided to not go anymore. And then so that made us not go because we were new in this city, so we didn't know anybody. So we actually ended up moving to an apartment right near the church, literally like down the block from the church. And I was like, wow, like, Mom, that's the church we visited when we first came. And she's like, yeah, but we're not going there. And we asked ourselves all these questions like, what do you mean we're not going there? But anyways, the days went by, and then we received in the mail a letter from the church stating that Tuesday nights they have these girls and boy club. Pretty much it's like Bible studies, and you get to express yourself as of what you're going through, and they get to help you. So it was an awesome program. So I was like, Mom, I want to go. And then I had a phone number of a lady. And she's pretty much like my aunt right now. And if you're watching this and you know me, you know who I'm talking about. She's amazing. God put her in my life for a reason. And when we received that mail, I called her. My mom called her and she said, hey. And the lady was like, God bless you. How can I help you? She was super nice and polite. So she said, sure, like she'll pick us up. So she picked me and my one brother up, and we went to the church. And ever since, you guys, we loved it. So I gave my life to Christ when I was 13 years old. And then I got baptized in the water when I was 16 years old. I was already in high school. But let me tell you something, it wasn't easy. So pretty much, as you can tell from the story, I was serving God by myself with my one brother. So I have 3 brothers, but the second oldest and me, we were serving God by ourselves, and we were in church, and we were very active. We were doing what we had to do for God and giving Him everything that He deserves from us, because we're nothing without Him, believe it or not. So then the years go by, and you guys, it took me 5 years from that moment I started going to church to see my family in church, to see my mom serving God alongside with my stepdad. And they were into witchcraft, they were into all this crazy stuff. My mom was the kind of person that will wake up cursing all the way to the moment she went to sleep. So I'm talking about, it was crazy in my household. So And I honestly don't know how I stay strong in God. And I think, like I say, and I always will say this, is because of God and His strength, giving me the strength to pull through it and get through it. So mind you, 5 years of prayers, 5 years of tears, 5 years, and it seems small, like it doesn't seem like a lot of years, it seems like very tiny, small years, but if you think about it, it went so slow for me. I've cried and I was praying and I was like, how can I get through this, Lord? Because I used to hate being home. I was miserable at home because of my mom's behavior and my stepdad's behavior. Like, I was completely done. So I will always stay over this lady's house that sends us the mail through, that send us that letter through the mail. And I will always find a way to stay over her house. But I always lean toward that Bible verse that says, for me and my household will serve the Lord. For me and my house will serve the Lord. So I don't know what's your prayer right now. I don't know what it is that you're asking God for, but I am here to tell you that you and your household will serve the Lord. All you have to do is trust and believe. Let me tell you something. One thing I've been learning is that His timing is super perfect and so on time. Our timing is super messed up. We tend to do things way too ahead. But when we wait on God and when we put our trust in Him, He takes over and He does what He has to do. And I love God for that. That's one of my main reasons why I'm so in love with God. And I might sound crazy to some of y'all, but it took a lot of me to believe that God was going to do something in my family. And I was like, well, at some point I started doubting God. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I was just like, is my mom ever going to get saved? 18 years backsliding. She has hate in her heart. She has grudges. So, mind you, my mom lived a very rough life. So, to see them come back to church was a miracle. So, it's been, I believe, 8 years now that her and my stepdad have been saved. And they are active. They are doing what God has called them to do. And I am so happy to see them in the ways of the Lord. And, it's just like, it's amazing. Being a Christian, you guys, it's amazing. I don't have to feel like I have to constantly go out in the street or go somewhere and tell people what I'm going through, because I know who is my God and I know that He lives inside of me and He knows what I'm going through. All He requires from us is to kneel down in His presence and surrender to Him and say, God, here I am. Take from me what doesn't belong to You, because I want to get closer to You, God. And He'll do it. He'll do it because God knows when we are honest. God knows when we have a sincere heart that completely, surrenders to Him. So I've been serving God that whole time. So I've been in this church for about 12 years, the time I've been here in the city. And it's been a blessing. I haven't stepped into a club. I haven't I haven't drank. I haven't smoked. And I don't think I'm missing out on anything, to be honest. I don't think so. And you will look at me like, wow, you're 24. Like, how could that even be possible? It's possible when you completely surrender to God. When you're reading your word on a weekly, on a daily, I don't care how many times you do it. When you are praying to God every single day, because we should pray every day. And I'm not talking about you should get on your knees every day and pray to God. No, I'm talking about just giving Him your time. Sometimes I could be cleaning and I'm in meditation. I'm in that connection with God. I could be in my car driving and I don't gotta close my eyes when I'm driving to pray. No, because God understands. So I'm driving and I'm talking to Him and I'm like, God, help me. And right now with this whole situation going on with our daughter, I've learned to have faith. I've learned that in this Christian walk, it's all about faith. And faith is believing what has yet not happened to you or what has yet not come. So I don't know what it is that you've been asking God for, but I am here to remind you that whatever it is you're asking from Him, it will be given unto you. When you fully, I'm talking about fully, because we can say out of our mouth that we trust and we believe that God is going to do it, but do we really believe it? Do we really feel it deep down in our soul that God is going to do that miracle? You see, because my mom is a cancer survivor. And I don't even know why I'm saying this, because honestly, my mom is a cancer survivor. I could have lost my mom when I was about 3 or 2 years old. I could have lost my mother. But God Come on now. But God did it. But God healed her. But God took away all cancer. And just when the doctors thought she was only going to live, they gave her, I believe, 3 weeks to live. Just when the doctor thought that it was the end for my mom, that she wasn't going to be able to carry any more children, God showed off. And this is what I'm telling you, that in your moment, in your darkest moment, in the moment that you're about to just like lose it and just give up, God shows up. God shows up. So like I said, I don't know what it is that you're waiting for. I don't know what's the miracle, whether it's a job, whether it's healing, whether it's restoration in the family, unity, whatever it is that you are facing and going through right now. I want you to believe and trust that God is going to do it. Listen, He did it in my life. He broke all the chains in my life. And I'm not saying that that whole time I've been in church, I've been perfect, because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. There's nobody. None of you watching this are perfect. I'm not perfect. The only one perfect here is God. And He's the one that solves our situation. He's the one that shows up. And I know that through this situation that I'm going through, I know that God is going to show off. I know that God is going to do something, because I know that I've had people telling me, but believe, God won't give you something like that. Okay, but guess what? I do believe God gives you things to fool the wise. God gives you things to open the eyes of the believers who are still doubting. Because God can use anything that He pleases to use. I guarantee you that. God can use anything that He pleases to use for His kingdom. He can use right now a drug addict to speak to you. He can use right now a homeless person to speak to you. He can use a sick person to speak to you. I believe that He can do that. God doesn't have to use just the Christians, just the ones who pretend to be perfect on a Sunday service. No, God can use anything. And I'm a witness of that. So right now, this is pretty much my story as my life as a Christian, and how do I keep my relationship with God so, I don't want to say perfect, but so awesome, and just that one-on-one connection. First of all, one thing I had to let go of was music. The bad music. I had to let go of it. And right now, people look at me like I'm crazy, and they're like, oh my God, but God still loves us. Okay, but I don't take for granted what God has done for me on that cross, okay? I love the Lord way too much for me to sit here and be a two-faced with God. I can't be in church and then be living this whole other life when I leave church. And I think this is a problem with a lot of Christians, that we pretend to be something on a Sunday service, and when you leave the whole week, you're a whole other person. So we have to make sure that as Christians, we are living boldly for God, that we are completely living that one-on-one commitment with God. So I keep that relationship. I listen by listening to worship music, Christian rap, Christian reggaeton, whatever it is that you want to listen to, just make sure it's Christian and it has that positive vibe and positive words. I read my Bible. I'm active in church. I teach the Teen Girls Ministry on Tuesday nights. I go on Thursday nights and Sunday mornings, and I give God my everything. And by going to church those days out of the week, it completely helps me and it strengthens me, believe it or not. And just living that boldly life for Him and saying no to what I have to say no to. If you know that your struggle is dealing with whatever it is that you're fighting with, whether it's music, whether it's dancing, say no to wherever, any party they invite you. Say no. Don't feel bad to not say no. Because at the end of the day, it's your salvation. It's your relationship with God. And God is going to honor you for saying no. Because He knows your struggle. See, I don't struggle with dancing. I don't have a struggle with that. I don't have a struggle with music anymore. So right now, if a friend invites me to a birthday party, I don't mind going, because I know I can sit there and have self-control. But if you're new in this walk, if you're a new Christian and this is new to you, I suggest that you say no to whatever you are still battling with. Like I said, whether it's music, whether it's dancing, whether it's drinking, and you know there's going to be drinks in that one party, then say no. See, it's called having self-control, and it's one of the fruit of the Spirit. Having self-control and controlling ourselves and being able to stand up and be bold enough and say no to whatever the world offers us. So pretty much, I think that's all I had to say as far as my life and my story that I know you guys wanted to know about. There's so much more into my story, but this is more of the Christian side and the Christian related. Because if I get into my childhood and all that stuff, it might be a little crazy up in here. I might be in tears, and I don't want that. So when I'm fully prepared to give that story about my entire life, I will completely sit here and share all that with you. But right now, this video was mainly about my Christian life and how did it all begin and how did I keep that connection with God one-on-one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to give it a big thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!